Once again, it's time for Off the Top Sportscast. I'm John, and that guy right there is Roy. And our subject for today, Roy, is going to be NFL decisions that are going to have to be made, when they're going to be made, if they're going to be made. Guys, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. We love it. We love to hear from you. We love it when you share our shorts and comments, okay? So, Roy, it's week 4, right? We're going into week 5, and there's a couple of things that are going on in the NFL that, with a mix of surprising play from some teams and a mix of injuries. There's injuries all over the stinking place. So, for context, right now, there are 9 teams that are 1-3. There's one team that is 0-4, and that's going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think everybody kind of gave the Jags a pass last year. It was kind of like Trevor Lawrence's first year, right? Because of the bad, coaching. So what do you think about the Jags, and are there going to be changes made, or do there need to be changes made with the coaching staff already?
Well, could we say that maybe Jacksonville thought or thinks when they drafted Trevor Lawrence that was going to be the franchise player? Trevor Lawrence is the franchise. Without him, they have nothing, right? But
I think so.
He hasn't really made the leaps and bounds that we think he should have made by now. Now,
right.
The team at one point, you said, man, look at the receivers. Look at what they had. ETN, they look like they had things rolling in the right way. But we can really see that we have some deficiencies. Is that a team deficiency? Is there maybe a coaching deficiency? I think it's a little bit of both.
It's crazy because you got 2 years ago, they were in the playoffs. They got that thing rolling, right? And their wide receivers were it was Travis Etienne was the running back. It was Christian Kirk. It was Ingram, the tight end, and it was Zay Jones. Last year, basically, they replaced Zay Jones with Calvin Ridley, and they didn't get better. They got worse.
Yeah.
Now, this year, you take Calvin Ridley out, and you add Gabe Davis. And that doesn't seem to be the answer either. So it's kind of a weird thing. Their defense has first-round picks all over it. I want to say there's 4 first-round picks standing right there from on the defensive line and in the linebackers right up front. It's crazy to me. I'm really flabbergasted by what has transpired over there. I feel like they don't use Travis Etienne in the correct way sometimes. I feel like they should try to use Travis Etienne more like the Bills are using Cook, or, back in the day, like Marshall Faulk type of guy. It's just not working for them. I really don't have an answer, but I can say that they don't seem to be making any adjustments. They go in there, they start getting beat at halftime, and they just continue to get beat. They don't change anything up.
Well, first, I do agree that they may not be using ETN exactly how they should, but I don't believe that he's big enough to be like a Cook. I don't think he's a pounding running back. I think they need to set him in the running back, and at times, run him. But also at times, roll him out. Give Trevor a quick dump out. That keeps some of these linebackers up because they're going to dump out and make 5 yards, right? Now opening behind those linebackers up. So I think they need to put him out, kind of keep him. Yep, look, fake the run, and look, he rolls out. Oh, boom. Or run him. But besides that, I'm just going to say this. I don't think the coach is going to last this year. I don't care what you say. I think he's going to be gone.
I'll say this. I think that they are trying to do exactly what you said with ATN. It's just the execution is just off. I don't know if that's Trevor or what that is. You know, the biggest problem is that Trevor Lawrence just got paid. So we know who's not going anywhere.
That's right.
You can't move that kid, right? And even if you did, what could you move off of him to get that you could possibly think you're going to be in a better position? You bring the coach in there to fix the quarterback or to fix the game plan or to fix whatever. You're not going to now replace the quarterback to fix the coach. So that's how I feel on Jacksonville. I think we're going to come back to Jacksonville because we're going to do a little segment here on should they be selling? Should they be sellers coming up here soon? The next thing that's going on in the NFL is that Davante Adams has asked for a trade. You know, we did a whole podcast on the Raiders, and I really thought this year was going to go differently for them. In the beginning of the year, it looked like it had promise. They had a bad half at one game, you know, but Davante Adams on the trading block, do you think that they'll trade him? And do you think they should trade him?
I think when you have a team like the Raiders, which they won some games this year, but have a commodity, have a diamond. The question is, what can you get? Can you go to the Jets and maybe swing a draft picks and swing maybe a player that's young? You know, can you go to the Cowboys, who are always looking for some big thing? You know, right now, is the CeeDee Lamb, I think, has an infection, or no, Cook, right? Has an infection in the knee for Dallas, the receiver.
Oh, yeah. Rashee Rice with the Chiefs got hurt.
He went down. He went hurt. So again, what are we looking at? So I'm thinking, just think about this. Can Jets do something? Can the Cowboys do something, which they're always willing to talk crazy talk? But who could possibly also do something? I don't know all these teams, and I'm going to give you two more, which I think will, man, wow, if they did something. One, and again, I don't know who got what, but give a young quarterback like Bo Nix, with what he's doing now, Adams, or give a team who really is doing something this year, like the Saints, an Adams. What can happen with those two teams? Now, again, I don't know what they got, what bargaining chips they got, what type of draft picks they got. Right. But those are two teams that I would look at. Again, Bo Nix right now, he's done some good things.
Well, that would be Denver. I don't think that they're in. The only thing that they're paying for is still Russell Wilson. I think that's it. I don't think they have any other high-priced talent. I can't imagine that they could not afford a Davante Adams or any of the other guys that I'm going to bring up. There's 5 teams that I thought to myself, is going to be in the discussion for any of the guys that we'll talk about.
But any of the teams I just said?
No, actually, I didn't think of Bo Nix, but you're right. Denver has a lack of talent and they have an abundance of space. You know what I mean? It's not like you're not kicking anybody out of the way, you know, or stunting anybody's growth. See, that's why I don't like him to the Jets. It's not that he's not a good player, is that how many more players do you need on that team?
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? So I thought the Chargers, they just shed weight. They just shedded all of their talent. They've got basically just a couple of guys that they drafted, not this year, but in years past. They're not bad wide receivers, but no number ones, nothing that scares you out there. He could slide right into that spot and I think help. You got the Chiefs that are just riddled with injury right now, all over the place. You got the Bills that we have a lot of good wide receivers, but we don't have that one guy. And maybe on a 1 year rental, maybe that works. We have Dallas that needs somebody else on the other side of CD Lamb. They need something to start that offense. They don't got anything right now. And the other one I thought was Washington. We see what Jaden Daniels is doing with one star wide receiver. Put the other guy on the other side of him, my goodness. And now you're setting that kid up to really see what you got, Washington. And they're not paying anybody. I mean, I think they're paying Terry McLaurin. Just got a contract recently, but I believe that's it. All their high-priced defense went out the door. So, yeah.
Now, I'm going to go real quick. KC, I don't think he'll do it. If you notice, if right now,
and I'm not saying necessarily for Davante Adams. I was saying that those 5 teams to me would be in the market for somebody.
And I get it. You can say, well, KC, because Rice went down, you have a young receiver, right? Good hands, catch. No, but I say no. If they really wanted that, they would have done what they needed to do to keep Tyreek. They didn't do that. They got already Kelsey, who really has, he had made some catches, but has been a little bit quiet this year so far. So if you bring a person like that in, somebody I think is going to suffer. And I really think, and KC has shown themselves to do this, to try to bring a couple of retreads in or try to bring somebody that you go, who was that? Where did he come from in? Because you have such a good quarterback. Buffalo's not going to do it because, again, you bring that in, a stud, somebody's going away. Somebody's sitting on the bench.
And we don't have the cash for it either.
And we don't have the cash for it. Now, could Washington? I don't think they want to. They're looking to grow, and I don't think they're willing to give away draft capital for it. So I think those 3 teams gone. You said Dallas. Dallas is always willing to open their pocketbooks, right? I think that's on the table. You said Harbaugh. I think so. That could be, but I do think he's saying, "Hey, I don't think Harbaugh is looking to make a splash this year. I think he's just trying to get organized and get by for the draft and getting that picked up." Look at these teams. You got to go to somebody who is willing to give up something or that you really need something. So could he go back to Green Bay?
No.
Could he?
They don't need him.
They don't need him, but listen, he's a stud. You know what I mean? Could you bring him there?
But they have 3 really good wide receivers. The wide receivers are so good that they made Malik Willis look like a really good quarterback. Jordan Love is coming back. Why would you do it?
So I'm going to put this one. What about helping out the Giants? You know what I mean? The Giants may have some draft capital. And again, the only problem is he may not want to go with Jones.
That's right. Davante, for that, he just stays in the Raiders. He's happy because he likes Oakland. I mean, he likes Las Vegas. It's just the situation that he's not liking right now. All right, let me ask you another question. Okay. Right now, one of the 1-3 teams is the Miami Dolphins. Next year, Tua and Tyreek combined for $70 million against their cap. That is a huge number. If they fall these next 2 weeks, let's just say, they'll be 1-5. Do we think that Tyreek Hill will be available?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Miami is relevant, I say, since the first time really of the days of Marino. So I don't think so. That's bringing people into the seats. That's giving them television views. I think what they have right now this year is an anomaly. It's just something that it's a UFO. It just came out of nowhere. And no one could believe what's happening with this team now. So I say, listen, they're going to lick their wounds. They're going to just going to try to get through the season as healthy as possible. I think they said Tua maybe week 8.
Well, he has another 2 weeks at least on the IL, and then he has to work his way back. He doesn't have any symptoms,
No, that's what they said. But think about it. Week 8, their season is over.
It would be week 7. Because we're in week 4. Well, possibly.
Yeah.
Because the IL is 4 weeks minimum. So it happened on week 2. So it was, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Okay, now let me ask you a question. Because we're not just dealing with Tyreek Hill. Let's remember, he wants a new deal. So next year will be his last year on his deal. Is Waddle potentially on the table? Because he got a big deal too. He's making $28 million.
See, this is what I appreciate about Buffalo. They try to be very careful with these type of situations. Even KC, and because when you get what is it called? Let's say house broke. You know what I mean? And all you're paying for is the house. You can't afford to keep the lights on, and that's the problem with them. But it all depends on ownership, because right now Miami is attractive.
The reason I asked that, that's true. Well, they can be attractive as they want, but if you ain't got the money to sign them.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
The reason I asked about Waddle is because Tyreek is going to be 30, right? He'll be 31 next year. Let's say that they want to re-sign him. Let's just say, for instance. I think that they will, because in my eyes, this whole offense is predicated on Tua and Tyreek, right? So if that's the case, and what they were talking about was Tyreek possibly earning a 3rd-round pick if you traded him. Waddle being that much younger, already having a long-term contract of $28 million, which is lower than everybody else's. That's a tradable piece that might be very tangible, something to think about. Let's go back to the coaches. We've got a team that's not on this 1-3 list. So I know you're saying, why are we talking about it? Well, it's because they're the Philadelphia Eagles. They're a team with, quote unquote, talent everywhere.
Yeah.
2 good wide receivers, a good running back, a quarterback that they think is good because they're paying him as a top quarterback. They've got 1st-round pick on defense everywhere. It's just not working. So now, do you think that Philly is going to make a move on their coach?
That could be the new Belichick team. Think about it. He's got everything he needs. He doesn't have to make a team. He has a team. They need to get some coaching around them. So
that's interesting.
let's put it in the air now and say this will be Belichick's team next year.
You know what's interesting about that? I had not considered that at all. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you credit. Not only have I not considered that, I haven't heard that. Jacksonville is the team that everybody's been saying would be the Belichick team.
Maybe because hot weather team, Florida team.
I guess they're saying that because I don't know why they're saying that, because I think they think that he's going to get fired first. But let me tell you something. With good young defensive players that are just not living up to their potential, that's a good place for Belichick to go. The problem is Belichick is only successful when he has that offensive coordinator that comes with him. You know? And I don't know if he's going to come with him this time again. You know? So that's the problem. You know, you need an offensive coordinator that can do something with this Philly offense, because it's really talented. I know they're hurt right now, but let's just live in how they've been playing. It's just not pretty. I don't understand exactly. It should be so dynamic. They have two good wide receivers, good running game, a quarterback who can run, quarterback who can throw. I think that they paid for the anomaly. Jalen Hurts has that 1 year where he played all world, and I will say it, for a Super Bowl, went toe to toe with Patrick Mahomes, blow for blow. You know, we watched that Super Bowl together. That he might have even outplayed Patrick Mahomes in that Super Bowl.
Yeah, good point.
The team just didn't. His pieces didn't play as well as Patrick's pieces, but but that's been it. That's the high, and everything else has been real mediocre. You know.
Yeah.
And
The question is, if this is the thing, I don't think that this is a team that you can go out and go, oh, we got this young, fresh coordinator. The team is there. I think you need somebody stable, pedigree, success. Think about it. He walks in, the team is like,
why not?
Yes, sir.
Why not Vrabel?
Where did that come from?
Because he's the other coach that's out there. I like Mike Vrabel better than I like Belichick.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think they're going to go with a splash. They got to make a splash. That's the issue. The question is this: are they going to be? You know how Belichick is in control. Are they willing to relinquish some control for that? That's the problem, and that's why he hasn't had a job. So that's the.
You're right. You're right on that. And that's the biggest problem in Philly. Philly's general manager has been there for a long time and has done a bang-up job, because we all look at those teams and go, there's been no misses on their drafts. They've made moves. They brought people in, perfect timing. So that's the key. And here's the thing: we got to remember too, Jalen Hurts is not getting along with Stefanski, his coach now, who's a younger guy. You think he's going to get along with Belichick?
You know what? I think he will, because again, what are you going to tell me that I haven't seen? I've been in the, you got someone who's been in the league for years. You have someone who goes, hey guys, you want these? He shows you his hands. You want these? And you go, yeah. You shut up and you listen. So I think, again, if Belichick goes, you know what? I'm too old to be dealing with all this stuff. You take care of this, because he showed success with the GM. Let me do what I do. But I'm going to want what I want. But let me do what I want to do. And I think, let's sign it, Belichick to the Eagles.
I got two other guys. I don't know how much discussion is going to be about them, but I think there's two other guys who should be available coming up soon. One is Amari Cooper, who I like, but who also is going to need a contract after this year. And the other one is DeAndre Hopkins, who's a little more farther removed, right, from his prime. But he's also not been in places in the last couple of years that have had good quarterback play. So is it the quarterbacks? Is it him? How much of the decline is really there? You know what I mean?
Where is he now?
He's in Tennessee.
So, yeah, you say, does he have the quarterback? Does he really have? Not really. He's on a team that is kind of faded away from the limelight. But he's put himself in that predicament. So I don't think people are going to want to pick up that luggage. I foresee him, tell you the truth, he almost reminds me of an Odell. All of a sudden, you pick him up. Where's Odell? Where's Odell? Team picked him up. Where is he?
Miami, hurt.
Yeah, you see, you hear that from time. Baltimore, where'd you hear? Where is he? Oh, he's hurt. Where is he? So I really don't think he's going to go in. I think somebody will sign him because there's going to be somebody who may want him and they may need him. But I don't think he's going to pay any impact on any team. I think that name you may not even recognize next year.
I think he would be the perfect pick for Dallas because he doesn't have to be the star. He can be a complementary piece. You can move Cook into the slot. He's a smaller, faster guy, and you can have something going. The only problem is it doesn't help. It doesn't help all the other holes that Dallas has.
Right.
All right. So,
hey, what about this? If you're thinking about a place for him, what about the Cardinals?
He was already over there.
I'm bringing him back. Now he got Harris and him.
I mean, I think if I remember correctly, he had some not so great things to say about Kyler when he left. So I think he burned that bridge. I think he burned that bridge. Well, I'm going to read off now the 1-3 teams. We've got Miami 1-3, Rams surprising 1-3, Arizona, Carolina, the Giants, Tennessee, Cincinnati, Cleveland, and New England. And I point to you when I said Cincinnati because you talked about it. You said that if they started off badly, that maybe it'd be time to start selling pieces. And that makes sense, specifically because you have T. Higgins, who's on a franchise tag. And I think T. Higgins can go anywhere and help any team.
Any team.
So any of those teams, what's the team on that list that surprises you the most with how they're playing?
The Rams.
I agree with you. The
Rams. Every other team that's on there, a little bit, if I go Rams, Cincinnati, Arizona, those are probably the three. The other ones don't surprise me. But for sure, I thought Rams could get hot. Boom, 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 and hurt some teams. Yeah, they could hurt some teams at bad times. You know what I mean? So I think the Rams, the problem with the Rams is, they have a quarterback that is, losing valuable time on his clock.
Yeah.
So, could that be a team that sells? Think about selling to the Raiders and the Raiders picking him up to try to keep Adams, giving him a real quarterback.
Oh, you're saying selling Stafford?
Yes.
Oof, I don't know about that. But so, wow, that would be interesting. Now, Stafford also is a guy who does not have a contract for next year.
That's why you got nothing. And he's
So
talking about retiring. So why don't you go like this? Hey, you sit them down, guys. We got to do something. Who got some draft capital? Possibly we could maybe pillage a little bit of something. Hey, Rams,
yeah,
you got a problem with Adams. You get a stud quarterback. Now you gotta have to worry about signing, but you got a stud quarterback. Give us a second or a third. Try to kind of get something. If you don't give me a second, I want a third this year. I want your third, fourth, something like that.
here's the problem. The Rams don't give a crap about draft picks. You remember, this is the team F them picks. So they don't do drafts. Even though they've drafted well the last 2 years, they've actually, Puka, that was a steal.
Yeah.
So the problem with the Rams right now is that they're just decimated with injury. But that being said, they might. I thought from the beginning of the year that it was going to be around week 8, and I think I even said this to you, that we were going to start seeing the Matthew Stafford retirement tour.
Could be.
And I don't think it was their fault right now that this is going to happen because of Puka went down, Cup went down, Darnold retires. So it's not their fault exactly, but they still have a very young nucleus. And I think that Cooper Kupp is a great little piece to trade. You keep Puka, you're going to have the young defensive line, you're going to have that young wide receivers, young running back in Kyren Williams. You let Stafford go, you trade Kupp, get draft picks, ride this year out, and see what you got going into the draft next year. I think it could be. I think it could work out perfectly for them because you would bring in either a new quarterback from somewhere else or a rookie quarterback, but into a really good situation where they got some good pieces.
Not bad choice. Sell. Good time.
Arizona's not going to sell.
Nope.
They're just getting their stuff together. Carolina's don't got nothing to sell.
That's right.
I don't think Tennessee is going to sell. Maybe a D-Hop, like we said, but they're not going to sell Calvin Ridley. They're not going to sell anything that they think that because they're just building.
Yep.
Cincinnati, I think they could sell.
Good sell. I think the Cincinnati, they're in a perfect spot to sell. Now, would the selling of the quarterback be shocking? I don't think they're going to sell the quarterback, but I think they're going to sell a wide receiver is going to be on that list.
And Cleveland.
Cleveland will do nothing.
I agree. They've locked themselves in to a pit of despair over there. They just signed Jerry Jeudy to a big contract for no reason. Nobody was going to give him a big contract. They've got Amari Cooper. I don't think they're going to let him go. I think they're just going to ride his contract out and get nothing for him next year. And then we've got New England, who they're a newer team. They still got Jacoby Brissett in there. They're not, and truthfully, they've been playing way better than, I know they're 1-3.
Yeah, they look better than what their record states. They look better than that.
They are playing better than the names on the back of the jerseys say they should be. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Because you look at those guys and you go, who just made that play? Who tackled that guy? Who caught that ball? Who are these people? So I've been impressed. That's basically a couple of moves that are going to be worked out in the next couple of weeks, I think. Is there another coaching move that you think is going to happen this year during the season?
The Cleveland coach could be gone. The Cleveland coach could be gone.
Really?
I think, again, why? You know
Giants?
why?
They
Because this
won't.
is the key. This is the key. No, I think the Cleveland coach could be gone even before the end of the season. And this is the key. You think they want to make a statement going, oh man, we messed up by signing this quarterback to all this money. You think they want to admit to that? No, they
Right.
don't. They have a team that has a lot of potential. You know why? We saw that last year with a different quarterback. This team was like boom, 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 boom. So I guess what? They got to
Very
blame
true.
some fans, we're going to do this. The coach, you're the bad guy. No, point the finger at the guy who made the big decisions. Point it to him because that's the mistake and the regret. So I say that is going to be in season before the end of the season. If they continue to drop within this year 4 more, which I think they're going to drop, you're going to see him get blamed for it.
I think that's a great place to drop off and stop the conversation because I think that's an excellent point. My only thing is, I do not know who in the world would want to coach that team. That's the problem.
You said
let
there
him
was
go.
another coach. You said there was another coach available.
I don't think Vrabel wants that mess, bro. No, man. No. What did we hear out of Tennessee when Vrabel was there? Nothing. It was, I mean, nobody was complaining. There was no stars on that team. It was only Derrick Henry. They did it with Tannehill. He liked it that way. I can't see it. Maybe, you got to cash that check.
All right, and they're willing to do it because these coaches. Hey, fire me! You just paid me $50 million. But teams are out there, and I want to say there have been 2 regrets that teams have. There's 2 players that teams have said, "Man, I regret." Who do you think are out there playing now that teams have underestimated and regret it, and they said, "Man, we should have." Who do you think?
Well, I think number 1 is Derrick Henry. I think Derrick Henry. I think, and remember, he wasn't the first. You did say it. You did say it. I was the one who was skeptical if it was going to work. And it's worked for 2 weeks at least. It didn't work for the other 2. Okay.
Baker Mayfield.
Oh.
Everybody. Baker. Cleveland. Cleveland wish they had Baker Mayfield right now. They didn't. When he came in, he's a locker room guy. They all said it. He's a team player, right? Hustler, fire. Yeah, in his younger years, kind of a jerk at times, what he said and how he acted. But he's aged, right? But man, if you look at his statistics, he was a good quarterback. And Tampa said, technically, you got to work for food. That's what they said to him. And he worked, not only worked out to the point that they went, shoot, we're not going to mess this up. I don't care who's out there, draft, whatever. We're going to sign this guy. And not, you know what he's saying? Is Baker going, look at me? No, he's not. He's letting the W's. That, I think, is team's biggest regret because there was teams out there that could have signed them and could have used them. Think about the Raiders. Could have used them.
Well, listen, sometimes these young quarterbacks, the Baker Mayfields, the Sam Darnold, who's killing it right now, the Geno Smith, they need to be humbled a little bit, brought back and said, hey, no, you got to work harder. It's not that you made it. You didn't make anything just by getting drafted. You got a ticket, and now you have to work every day to earn that ticket. And so I think that's what's going on with Baker. Well, folks, I think that was a good discussion we had there. There's going to be more decisions to be made. Week 5 is coming up, and by week 5, this whole list could be flipped upside down because this year has been crazy. If you're not watching these games, you are missing out because this has been one of the most competitive seasons of NFL play that I've seen in a long time. I know everybody says any given Sunday, but this year that is true.
Yeah, and think about it. With the next two games, those teams that we were talking about, 1-3, they win 2 games in a row. They're 3-3.
Right.
Things change. Things change in their perception and their view of what they're going to do. Rams will look different 3-3 if they did, right? So I think these next 2 games for that bottom tier team will be, now people are going, wait a minute, let's get on the board.
That's right.
Drafts this, they start talking all this craziness. They start talking about, well, Sanders, how far will Sanders drop as a quarterback? You know what I mean?
Roy,
talk of that.
You know something that will never change is what we ask people to do every week. And what's that?
Talk to a stranger about sports today.